Daily success, daily success. Plan a week ahead, be excellent. Make money moves, achieve your goals. Transform your life, one routine at a time. Daily success, daily success. Go and get yours. You better go get yours.
Welcome to the Daily Success Show, the podcast dedicated to inspiring you to achieve your goals, keep a consistent schedule, and live your dream life. And I'm your host, Jamila Payne. Have you ever had the experience of trying to move 2, 3, 4, 5 goals forward simultaneously and not getting traction on any of them? Well, today we're going to talk about how to set goals to achieve the life you actually want. So to jump right in, I really want to talk about this idea that we touched on a little bit in the first episode of the Daily Success Show, which was all about project goals versus outcome goals. Now, what I often see from ambitious professionals is that they have a lot of goals, like a work goal, a life goal, health goal, relationship goals that they want to make happen. This might be true for you, and it's tough to figure out how do you get all of these things going, and then choosing between them feels so painful. Like, I've been there. What I want to help you with is first thinking about how you can break these bigger ideas and visions down into smaller projects. Now, this doesn't mean that you're making your thing that you want to achieve small. It means that you're moving it from this like bigger future vision into something that you can wrap your mind around and take action on. Few examples that I've shared are things like saying that you want to feel more energized and healthy, but the way that you decide to get to that future result is that you want to let go of some weight, like 15 pounds, or maybe you want to be able to feel a sense of financial freedom in your life. But the project, right, to create that financial freedom might be having an emergency fund of $1,000 or $5,000 or 3 or 6 months of your living expenses. It's very important that you move from really big outcomes to projects that can help you with some natural ideas about where to begin. Once you have that, then you can really begin the framework of narrowing down the goals. Having too many goals at the same time doesn't work, and here's why. The things that you want to accomplish often have lots of micro tasks that are associated with them to get them done. So let's just think about the idea that I just mentioned of financial freedom, and the project being putting, let's say, $1,000 into an emergency fund would make you feel more financially free. Well, there might be several things that need to happen as a result of doing that. So you may have to put together a budget that allows you to set money aside every time that you get paid. Maybe you need to set up a separate bank account in order to get that done so that you're not tapping into that bank account on a periodic basis. Maybe you need to have a conversation with your significant others or friends about not going out as much, or choosing a select group of places that you're going to go that are a little bit more budget friendly. Can you see how a simple project of being able to create a $1,000 emergency fund can lead to all of these micro tasks in order to make it happen? What we don't take into account when we're setting up these bigger ideas and coming up with these bigger ideas is all of the mini tasks that are associated with them. And that's why when you're trying to move several things forward simultaneously, it might sound simple, but requires so many little pieces that it's hard to get them moving forward simultaneously. Now, the action guide for this episode is called the 90-Day Project Year, and you can download that by going to shows.dailysuccessroutine.com and going to episode 2 on creating a plan for the life that you want. The 90-day project year is a tool that we teach at Daily Success Routine so that you don't have to choose between your goals. So let me give you 6 reasons why setting your year up into 90-day projects will help you to create the life that you want in a way that you've probably not have been able to do in the past. Okay, so first is that it will allow you to see your entire year in advance. So imagine, you'll see this when you download the action guide, you'll have all 12 months of your year in front of you so you can know what you're going to work on when. The second reason is that your goals will happen faster. Shorter targets create clear focus. So when you put your mind to, okay, I'm going to work on this particular project for the next 90 days and then I'm done, you're going to be a lot more motivated and create a lot more momentum in order to get it done so that you can move on to the next thing. And let's be honest, I believe that you're an achiever just like me. That's why you're here listening to a show about daily success. And folks like us that have that achiever nature don't like waiting until the end of the year to see results in our work or life. We want to see progress a whole lot faster. Number 3 is that you get to decide what you're going to work on and when. So if you're choosing a lot of big goals and trying to move them forward simultaneously and not making anything happen, or feeling at a loss about choosing between which thing to work on, using this 90-day project year framework allows you to say what you're going to work on and when you're going to work on it, meaning you don't have to give up anything. You can have all of your project goals, just not at the same time. Okay, number 4 is it allows you to get both work and life goals done. Now, I've seen it too often where people are one-sided, meaning that when we think about moving an aspect of our life forward, more often than not, we're focused on work and career aspects or growing a business. But there's other things that are getting left to the wayside, like our own self-care and well-being, time with our family, ability to travel. Not everyone is good at being able to do both things. But if you're using the 90-day project year framework, then you can plot out your year where you're working on life goals at certain points in the year, or you're working on work, career, business goals at certain points in the year. Number 5 is that you get to move things around. So you don't have to have a specific goal for like this long ongoing period of time. Let's say that in second quarter, you're more excited to work on a project that you originally had planned for third quarter. Well, you can absolutely move it around and make changes based on things showing up in your life or just what you might feel inspired by working on. And then number 6 is that it allows you to course correct. So I've personally had the experience of working on a specific project-based goal, getting, a month or 2 or 3 into it and realizing that this isn't actually right for me. And if you've ever had that experience too, you can feel like you've wasted a lot of time working on something that you never saw come to fruition. But using this framework, you're able to course correct, make changes, or decide that this isn't the right thing for you. It's not actually something that you want in your life, and you can go in a different direction or simply move on to the next project. Now, you might be wondering, how many goals at a time should you be working on? And my suggestion is that you decide on 2 to 3 goals per quarter. So that's every 3 months, you're accomplishing 2 to 3 goals, or 1 goal per month. Anything more than that, trust me, it becomes really overwhelming. And remember, the reason why is because often your goals have so many micro items, micro tasks that are necessary to complete them, that if you're trying to do several things all at once, it becomes very, very difficult to keep focus and move them forward. This way you can say, okay, every month I'm going to knock out something new. Or you might take 2 big projects like letting go of some weight and finally writing your business plan, and give yourself 2 to 3 months to be able to get that done. And then you move on to the next set of projects. Well, the brilliance in this is, of course, if you finish early, then you can absolutely go on to the next thing. You don't have to wait around. Now, after you have mapped out your entire year, your 90-day project year, then you want to create a project plan for your goals. And we talked a little bit about this in episode 1. So if you haven't listened to episode 1, definitely go back and check this out. But project planning is basically when you do an idea storm on all of the mini actions that need to happen in order for your project to get complete. So just write down this brainstorm of, let's just say, for example, if you had a goal like creating a website for your personal brand, okay, so then you might have to find a graphic designer who is going to develop the look and feel of your brand. And then you might have to find a web developer who could create your WordPress website. Or if you're going to go at it on your own, right, then you might find a template that you can use for your WordPress site. You might want to decide on what the copy is going to be, your about us for your website. Plan out time to actually write that. Can you see how one little project becomes a massive thing because all of these baby steps that need to happen in between? That's why the project plan is important. It helps you to really get get an idea of like the real scope of what it's going to take to make your projects happen. Now, after you complete your project plan, you can begin executing your project by transferring those micro tasks into your daily list. Now, you might be creating a to-do list right now that includes things like checking your email or following up on a call. But I'm curious about how many things on your to-do list are actually related to bigger projects. If you want to see serious movement in terms of creating the life that you want, then you want to start aligning your daily to-dos to these bigger projects that you want to get done. Now, I'll give you one additional tip for this episode. I really suggest spending the first hour of your day working towards your 90-day projects. That way, nothing is left to chance. Like those fire drills that typically show up during the day have no chance of interrupting your ability to accomplish your task related to your project as the day goes on, because you've done it up front. So that will help you transferring those mini tasks to your daily to-do list, creating that hour of power to work on them, and then putting a routine in place related to the goal, which having an hour of power to work on those projects is a perfect example of a daily routine that you can put in place. Okay, so let's recap today's episode, which is all about utilizing the framework of creating your 90-day project year in order to create a plan to set your goals. So let's review today is all about using the 90-day project year in order to set goals to create the life that you want. The 90-day project year will help you see everything in front of you all at once, make your goals happen faster, decide what you want to do when, include both work and life goals, move things around so that you're not stuck working on things for longer than you need to, and be able to course correct. So don't forget to grab today's action guide at success.dailysuccessroutine.com. Go to episode number 2 and download today's action guide. Now, I would love to hear from you. What is a strategy that you have used to be able to create the life that you want? Share in the comments over on the website, shows.dailysuccessroutine.com, and let me know what you're working on. Around this time last year, I conducted an interview with Jadah Sellner, who served as a mentor for our Achievers Club program at Daily Success Routine. Jadah is the co-author of Simple Green Smoothies and founder of Tribe of World Changers. You can check her out at JadahSellner.com. Jadah shared some great insights in terms of how she plans her year, which I thought would be really helpful for you on this episode. So let's jump into the interview. Jump in and talk about how you plan your year. So do you have a process for thinking about the year ahead, and how does that work for you?
Yeah. So it's something that I do with my own clients, and what I teach my clients, I also do with myself. But a big part, I just had an end of year planning session with some of my close friends. And a big part is one, really getting clear on how I want to feel in my year. And so I do this exercise where I actually dance it out. So, and getting out of my head and into my body of what is it that I want to experience? How do I want to feel? What do I want to contribute? And is there anything that I want to learn? So actually it's not so heady and like writing all the things, but actually getting into my body and then brainstorming those things out on paper. Then the second part is really, I do quarterly planning. So everything that I do is like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And so for me, I kind of do a dream bank of like, what are all the things that I want to do in the next 3 years, 3 to 5 years. And I create a 3-year vision. So again, really thinking big picture before I go into baby steps. And so I have my 3-year vision that I write and I update each year, and I record myself. I listen to my 3-year vision as part of my morning routine, or I'll read it, and I make sure that's written in kind of that present tense, present form. And then from there, once I kind of have the story and the vision of what it is that I want to create, then I actually make a plan and like figure out what are the things that I can do in the next 12 months. From all the things that I want to create and build. And I start with each quarter, just looking at my calendar. What are the important holidays and dates that are already in place? Like my daughter this year, she's graduating like elementary school, so just making sure those things are in my calendar. Really important travel, vacation, my daughter's spring break. My Q3 will always be lighter because it's summertime and my daughter's out of school. So I always just really paying attention to kind of putting in, as they would say, like the big rocks, right? What are the big things that are going on, and actually scheduling that in first. So I allow my calendar to get filled up with what matters and what's important. And then I'll start planning my business projects. And I pick up to 3 projects per quarter. And I don't do any more than that so that I can stay really, really focused. And I draw it out in a circle. So I have each of my quarters, and I take a picture and send it to my assistant so she knows these are our priority projects, and then breaking those down into, what do we need to do on a week by week basis to make those projects happen. And I'll just add one more thing. I get clarity on how much revenue I want to make in a year.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was going to ask that next. So definitely say more about that.
Yeah. So I always write the revenue number and I want it to be a stretch, right? Something that you're actually excited about. And a lot of women can have a hard time picking that revenue number because they're like, will I make it? I don't know. But like Viktor Frankl said, there's this great video where he's teaching and he talks about how everyone, tries to get here, like base, like this is where I should be. But they actually end up going lower. And so he says to shoot higher. So you actually arrive where you're supposed to be versus lower. So you always want to stretch yourself. And what I've noticed in women not, having a hard time dreaming big or having that big revenue goal is they don't want to mess up. They don't want to not hit it, but we have to really unattach our self-worth from like the numbers and the money and the results. It's not about that. It's just like, this is a direction that I want to move towards. And I'd rather, if you set a goal, like a money goal of like, this is just enough and this is doable, you might go under and that's going to suck. But I'd rather like not quite make the bigger goal, but it's more than enough. So right. That's really, I always stretch people if they haven't hit 6 figures to write 100K. For most of my clients, they are in the higher revenue. So we're doing, 1 million. And like, what would that look like? What would your business model? What products would you have to have in place? How much would you need to charge? How many people would need to buy them in order to get up to that number? Because we create the number and then we're like, that's it, and that's not enough either. We actually have to see that there's a clear path of how to get there. And if it's realistic, I'm like, well, I don't want that many one-on-one clients. And right. So then you can adjust those numbers from that place, but really looking at what do I have to do? What is it going to take to actually create that number as well?
Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I want to ask you to show us some love by leaving a rating and review wherever you downloaded the podcast. I would love to hear from you how the Daily Success Show is helping you to achieve your goals. If you have suggestions or ideas for any episodes, then feel free to send me an email to hello@dailysuccessroutine.com. I promise we'll read every single one, and I want to make sure that we're making the show as helpful for you as possible. It's time to take action. So go over to shows.dailysuccessroutine.com, look for episode 2, and share in the comments. What things are you going to take action on from this episode to set a plan in place to create the life that you want? What are some of the things you're working on? I want to hear about them. So again, that address is shows.dailysuccessroutine.com, and that's where you'll also find the action guide for today's show. Well, I think this puts another one in the books. I look forward to talking with you next week. Now remember, a daily routine will ensure your success. So honor your commitments and take one small action today towards achieving your ambition. Your goals are absolutely worth it. See you next week. Hey, did you like this episode and looking for more great insights just like this? Then you might want to check out our free workshop coming up on starting the year strong, the first 100 days. You can go to bit.ly/DSR Start Strong. That's DSR like Daily Success Routine. Start Strong, all one word, and RSVP for the free workshop. That's bit.ly/DSR Start Strong and RSVP today.
Daily success, daily success. Learn the week ahead. Be excellent. Make money moves. Achieve your goals. Transform your life. One routine at a time. Daily success, daily success. Go and get yours. You better go get yours. Daily success, daily success, daily success. You better go get yours. Daily success, daily success, daily success, daily success.